welcome back. Today we have the creators of Doomsday Cabaret, Michael Tioli, Michael Shaw Fisher, and Chris Raymond. How are you guys doing today?
Great.
Very well.
Super.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks. We've got a big crew with us today. So we have all of the creators of Doomsday Cabaret, this play that's going on locally, or this cabaret here in the Los Angeles area. So why don't we start off with Mike Fisher? Tell us what your role in this is. What is your position here, sir?
I wrote it, composed it, so I guess book, lyrics, and produced it, and I'm in it. I'm a performer.
Oh, okay. So you're wearing quite a few hats there. What about Mr. Mike Tioli? What is your role in the production?
I'm the music director, and I did all the musical arrangements, and I did additional musical composition along with Mike to flesh some stuff out.
Wow.
Okay.
And Chris?
Chris Raymond is the director.
All right. Wow.
So yeah, this is a first for us, having the whole crew here at the same time. So exciting.
You can get more people if you like.
Yeah. Bring them on. Yeah, let's do it.
Work it out. So yeah, could you give us a little bit of a synopsis of the show? Tell our audience what the show's about.
Whoever wants to shout it.
Yeah.
Fisher.
Yeah, Fisher.
The writer.
Okay, yeah. It's about it all takes place on December 21st, 2012, on the last day of the world, and all of these freaks and geeks of the apocalypse, these quote unquote experts, get together in the mountains of San Bernardino with a bunch of people to kind of have a kind of rock and roll symposium where they are going to rock out their theories and try to kind of win over the audience and trump each other as right before the curtains close on the entire human race. It's pretty ridiculous, and these characters are very absurd and very fun. And part of the story is, of course, the doomsday theories and embracing that doom romanticism, but also it's really a story about these characters and how they sort of change throughout the process of the show.
Wow. What inspired you to write this play or musical?
I guess I was at a bonfire in Venice, and I kind of put some money down on a theater for the Hollywood Fringe Festival, several $1,000s, kind of just booked this venue. And I had the venue, but since I couldn't do the Exorcist musical that I wanted to do because of the Geffen show, I had to kind of come up with something fast. So I wanted to do something with Kurt Billy, the NoHo arsonist, but I wasn't sure what. And then I had this bonfire, and I heard about, these people talking about 2012, and I was like, oh yeah, the Mayans in 2012. They're like, actually, there are quite a few cultures that, and historical prophets who point to 2012. So I was like, wow, it would be great if all of those people got together on that day and sort of rocked out. And that was the basis of the show.
Wow.
So how much research did you do on the 2012 end of the world theory, or was this just more for fun? Or did you do it?
I mean, I did a good amount. I mean, I did about as much as I could given my time frame. I was able to fit in, a fair amount of the theories into the show.
Pretty educational, actually, I think, in parts of it, yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
There's some probably, there's some that I couldn't go in depth, but I try to mention all of these theories and make sure that they're in there. But yeah, of course, you're trying to not make it too didactic. It's still a story about people. So how WebBot is important about, but as long as it's more important to make sure that the character is revealing something about themselves through the song as opposed to, through the theory, as opposed to, just a bunch of facts which anybody could look up. It's got to be internalized,
Yeah. Well, to definitely for the to make it an entertaining, interesting story. But you have with you said that there are several other theories that revolve around 2012, other than just the Mayans, or several cultures rather. So, what are some of the other cultures? I'm not familiar actually. Can you share that with us?
Yeah, well, the Hopi believe that the world is going to end on December 21st, 2012. That's a belief that I believe. I mean, there was always this idea that the fifth world, but since we are living now in the fourth world, and that the fifth world will come. And then they made sort of an official prophecy about it back, I think it was maybe like in the 70s. And then Nostradamus, I think, was also a 2012 proponent. And who else? Webbot. The Webbot is the computer. It's actually an internet program that sort of just gets through the internet and pulls out various words and repeating words in our technological, or cyber unconscious, I guess you could say. It pulls these words out and is able to predict, and 9/11 and Dick Cheney shooting someone in the head, and like all these various things too. So I mean, there's that. There's so many. I'm trying to think what else comes to mind. Of course, the Mayans, and the I Ching. I Ching prophecy points to 2012, which is made by a guy named Terence McKenna, who took the ancient I Ching divination system, and he formulated a map of time based on the system, and from that comes the whole thing ends on December 21st, 2012. It's all very spooky. Then there's the Egyptians, who I didn't study as much, but I think it's similar to the Mayans.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello.
Somebody is trying to make a prediction on the other end.
Yeah.
The children of paradise are called.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
So I want to go down the line. Let's start with Chris. Do you believe the world is going to end December 21st? And
do I believe the world's going to end December 21st?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Well, why not?
Well, no, it might. So you guys might want to come by and check out our show, just in case.
Right. That's the last thing I would.
We'll all be together.
Yeah.
We all be together. I would probably be spending it with my family. In that case, if that were the case. No, but what attracted me to this piece, to Doomsday Cabaret, I don't know. Are you guys familiar with the musical Assassins?
I've heard of it. I don't know the.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a great musical by Sondheim, and it's all about the different assassins in America, and how basically there are kind of theories about how they became assassins and why they were assassins, and there's a kind of a unifying thing that happens with the assassins in the musical. And there's something about this where all these people who are kind of live outside the margins in Doomsday Cabaret, these experts and theorists who live these isolated lives and are basically trying to control their own fears by trying to figure out, like, oh, this is how the world's going to end, and so I'm going to have some kind of control over the way the world's going to end because I'm going to own and know what that is. And it's about that these people who are all kind of outside the margins come together and find a way to unify and find unity with each other. So that's what really attracted me to the piece, and also that the music is great and the lyrics are great.
Wow. Well, and Michael Tioli, do you believe the world is going to end on December 21st, 2012?
I do not. No.
What?
Oh no! What? Come on! What?
No. If I had to pick, I was once asked if I had to pick, like, one of the characters to say, like, which one of these are my closest to. I would have to go with the bee girl who is, it believes in the whole bee death thing, because that one's actually somewhat, based in science. So I would have to kind of side more with her. But no, ultimately I don't believe the world's going to end. So I will be at that show. because I think there will be a next day. I think. Yeah.
Right.
What if
Wah, wah.
last but not least, Michael Shaw Fisher, do you believe the world is going to end on December 21st, 2012?
Well, I mean, essentially, the world's in any second. You know.
Profound, man. Profound.
I mean, well, no, it's true. I mean, there's so many factors. I think they have something called the Big Rip theory, which is, I believe, that the universe is composed of like something like, I don't know how many percent, I don't know what the percentage is, but it's like a large percentage. It's like a third dark energy is what they call it. And apparently, when the ratio of density and the density, I can't remember what it is. There's a ratio that has to fall below like 0.1%. And what happens when that happens is the world will basically the dark energy will grow at an infinite rate an infinite rate at a finite amount of time, which basically means it basically resists gravity and destroys gravity. So like suddenly the Milky Way will just be destroyed. Then the moon will be torn away from the Earth, ripped away from the Earth. The Earth will be ripped away from the sun. And that basically could happen anytime in the next 10 billion years, scientists say. And this came from a very, very reputable laboratory or whatever, scientists in China.
Actually, it came from Woody Allen.
Right.
Yes.
Are you serious?
It came from Woody Allen. No.
No, he uses it in one of his movies. He uses it in one of it.
He got it from the scientists in China.
Well, so
the world is going to expand eventually. The world is going to expand, and that's what's going to happen. It's going to expand so large that we're just going to tear away from each other. But that's a really negative view, Mike.
I wrote a musical called Doomsday Cabaret because I love the negative view. I mean, if there is a chance that it could end now, there's a chance it could end on December 21st, and maybe I'm just because I'm acting in it and I'm just sort of embracing the excitement of it, perhaps. But there's also an opportunity that there could be enlightenment, a mass enlightenment, that suddenly we all could start levitating and, being able to microwave food with our eyes. I mean, we just don't know.
That's what I want to do. I want to levitate and that's awesome.
Well, come to the show.
Can I talk about the rock for a second?
Of course. Yeah.
All right. So we just to let people know out there, we have a really powerhouse 9-person cast who are just packed with amazing singers and actors, and we also have a killer 4-piece band who is just really it's a real rock show. It's really a slammin' fun 1-hour rock show that will just totally rock your socks off. And it's one of those things that even though it is it's very educational. There's so much behind all this the story and everything, but it's just it's a slamming good time. That's one of the great things about it. Yeah,
it's just fun. Basically, it's just fun.
That's awesome.
There's a moment
musical. A lot of people who might not traditionally like musicals, I think would really, dig this show. I mean, people who like musicals will too, but I think it's really a slammin' rock show.
Okay, but for a second.
Yeah. More so than a musical.
But for a second, who are those people that don't like musicals? Those are just lamos. Okay? Who are those people? I don't like musicals.
I think I share that sensibility because there are a certain amount of show tunes and musicals that I can't stand. Mm-hmm. And there's just a whole you always have the song where it's just I'm gonna sing about what I want, and it just gets really cheesy. And there are a lot of people who don't think that's cheesy, and they're like, "Oh, that's awesome! I love that." There needs to be that obligatory, dreamer song that's maybe the second or third one in, where they just lay down what their big hope is for the world and what their big problem is, and it's all extremely cliched. And there are a lot of people who like that, and I don't mean to be sarcastic, but there are a lot of people who really like that kind of art. And there's a lot of people who also like to go to rock shows, whether it's, at the Viper Room or at the Coliseum, and they just like to listen to music. So this is sort of like it tries to give the people who like a story and a story that's sung seriously, and also at the same time who like to go to theater and have comedy and sketch comedy elements, but also, I mean, people who just like to go to rock shows and hear it in bands, give them something that they just, gives them chills. There's something for, I think, a lot more people than just one genre or another.
With the thing, too, with musicals... Oh, I'm sorry. Go on.
Well, I was going to say, like, Chris is right with the Assassins thing. It's like Assassins meet Hedwig meets hair.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it sounds like
that where the drummer's using a double bass pedal. So there you go.
Oh my god! That's sending it over the edge. You're sending it over the edge.
Yeah, Chris didn't know that. Never mind. I shouldn't say that. I don't have him playing the double bass. No, that's all right.
What a great way to spend the end of the world.
I know.
Exactly.
At a rock show.
Going down.
I'm
sorry. What? You're like all talking. I was
No, you go ahead.
I was saying, if I'm going down doing Doomsday Cabaret. That's how I'm.
There it is. Yeah, that sounds great. And so right before we started talking about The Rock, someone was saying, I think it was Mike, you were saying, Mike Fisher, something about the 21st, December 21st, you don't know. It could be the end of the world. It could be a transition. One of the theories I think a lot of people have is that it's going to be sort of a cross into an enlightenment because we're moving towards the age of Aquarius.
That's in our show.
Yes.
Yeah. So, that's in the show too.
Not the age of Aquarius, but something else.
Chris, don't give away any of our secrets.
I'm not telling what it is.
That's a great. No, just a little teaser. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Well, that's cool. I think it's also important to be positive. I think it gets depressing. People are like, they kind of live to die, and they have this whole macabre view of the end of the world. I definitely, with a lot of the things that are going on right now, I definitely feel that there's a change. Something's changing, something's in the air. I feel that we're definitely evolving or changing some way.
Well, that's a big part of our show. I feel like a lot of the characters also, they come into it feeling that way, but they have a journey that they don't necessarily come out that way.
Exactly. An unexpected journey, something different than what they had anticipated.
But I think they all feel that way going into it.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Are any of them kind of over-the-top preppers? You see some of these people who really believe that this is going to be the end of the world and who are, scavenging for food and, holding up in their houses and things like that.
Getting bunkers,
Yeah. Do you have any characters like that in the show?
Yeah, I mean, what basically it is, it's sort of like there's a wink, I think, to a survivalist element, but it's also about the capitalistic aspects of people selling doom, and and there's, it's more than say the doomsday preppers who are just getting tons and tons of water bottles in their bunker. It's more so about these people who are all sort of, okay, we believe the world's going to end. We want to go out rocking, as opposed to going out in some bomb shelter. They all have a massive death wish for humanity. I don't think that they intend to preserve themselves in any way. They're like, fuck it. Can I say that on the air?
Yes.
Language.
I can?
Yeah, you can.
You know what? Okay, if not, you can bleep that out. But their opinion is just let's clean the board. They've had enough pain in their lives, but they're ready to go.
What do you think some good things?
Sorry.
It's okay. So, first there was 2000, right? And then there was Y2K was at 2001. So
yeah.
What is so special? I remember the panic. People were like, oh, I remember being a kid, and people were like, oh, the world's gonna end, and and Y2K, and the computers they can't do math, and we're all doomed, and
yeah.
I think that's part of the beauty of this, because people have asked me a lot about is the show after Doomsday? Is the show can it still be relevant and live on. And I feel like, you know, every few years there's that next thing. It was Y2K, you know, and then, you know, it was something else in, I think, 2004, and then it was the Rapture last year. And, you know, and so, like, after this, I mean, all the people who really believe that the world's going to end, and those people are out there, you know, when it doesn't, if it doesn't, when it doesn't, it's, you know, those people are just going to latch on to that next thing. There's always going to be that next thing. So I feel like these ideas that all the characters are having, this feeling, is always going to be relevant in some form. Even if it's not the Mayan calendar, you know, it's always going to be relevant somewhere. So you could look at it like, you know, it can be adapted to that next thing, and it's also kind of a, you know, a picture of, you know, time right now as far as, you know, that capturing how it was this time around, you know.
Yeah,
I think Doom always has to be around the corner, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's part of our, you know, it's part of our movies. It's a part of our television. We have this wonderful, you know, cinematic macabre destiny for our own culture. It's like what Michael was just saying. One of the actors, Joe Freya, was talking about it as being an interesting, definitely almost making more sense as being a period piece after the fact than it does just building. And there's a hype of building up the show, you know, and then building up to the date, and then there's actually, you know, looking at it as being, you know, as you would look at, you know, Assassins or Hair or something like that. There is looking back on those times and the emotions that were involved. And and there will always be assassins, and there will always be hippies and hipsters, and there will always be doomers. So, you know.
Right. So it should always be relevant in whatever time, because it's true. I mean, we had a couple raptures last year, I think, right? It was like at least, I think there was at least
I
two.
saw one last night. I don't know if you
Right. I know.
Mommy Burger.
It was this guy that was like making billboards, right? And then a lot of people like sold their stuff and But if you're gonna experience a rapture, why are you gonna sell your things? That doesn't, you know what I mean?
Because you have to go to the next. You're going to the next level. You're going to
I know, but I feel like, well, just if you're gonna die, you're gonna die, and then your things will just be left over. Like, what, you know what I mean? What are you gonna do with the money?
I don't know, but also the people like racked up lots of debt too, thinking they didn't have to pay it off afterwards.
That's what I would have done. Yeah,
I think when people sell their things, it's a way, sort of an answer to this maybe like
a purification,
this unconscious desire to kind of dispose of the material,
rid themselves of this world to move on to the next world.
Exactly, you know, and like even if it doesn't happen, there's a therapy about it. There's a certain kind of therapeutic aspect to giving away the things that you have.
I have a question. Do you think that humans are naturally self-loathing, or we've been conditioned to be this way about ourselves?
Woody Allen did it. Woody Allen's conditioned us.
Religion did it. Religion did it.
You think that religion made us self-loathing?
Yeah.
Made us okay.
I like that.
Huh?
That's a good answer. I like that.
Yeah, it is actually.
I don't loathe myself because of religion.
But you should.
You're like, okay, why do you? But you loathe yourself? Why do you loathe yourself, Mike? Do you loathe yourself?
I loathe Mike. I loathe Mike. I loathe him.
I loathe myself on Tuesdays, but then I give myself a break on Wednesdays. I don't know.
Do you think that the human race deserves to survive? Do you think
yes
to be
yes without a doubt.
Yes. Why? One quick answer.
Yes. Why? Why? Because we have to go on. Because the answer yes is the affirmative, is the positive to go forward and to live. Yes is the answer to life. You can't say no.
You know, but there are people that are like, oh, you know, we've caused pollution and all the, you know, people.
Oh, you're right. I changed my mind. Yeah.
No, but warming and.
No, you're right. I mean, sometimes it is self-deserving because we're very selfish. I mean, that's one of the issues. We're very selfish and self-centered.
Is it fair to? Because I think that there are people that are selfish and there are people that aren't selfish. You know, but you think it's fair to just say, oh, because there's some people that are selfish and evil and whatever you want to call them and messing it up for everybody. everybody else deserves the same fate or punishment.
It's our job to be responsible and fight to make change and get on that right path. I feel like.
In the time that we have that we're on here before December 21st, and we all die, right? We have to make some changes. Yeah, so we better get on it.
You better get on it right now.
We're running out of time.
Time's a waste and the clock's ticking.
Yeah. It really is. It's really coming along quickly. It's like, it's Mayan time to end the world already? Is that time of year again? No. So yeah, it sounds like a really fun show and a great way to end the world. But I guess it sounds to me like I sort of think that it sort of has like the way you guys are describing it, sort of like a positive outlook on the doomsday. Maybe something can come of that.
Oh, it's very.
It does. It does all of it. It has so much fun. I mean, like the show is just embracing all the theories and just celebrating a lot of this stuff. And and it's just a blast. It's like a real comedic piece. I mean, it probably has much more comedy than it does any sort of tragedy, and it's all satirical and wacky and fun. Yeah.
All the negative that we've kind of been talking about, the whole show is about that journey, about getting past that. So we're not going to tell you the ending right here, but so we're not. That's why
Michael will take off the
interrupt here for a second.
We're focused on more of how their minds are getting into it.
Hi. So, ladies and gentlemen, I do have some changes to make. I'm actually going to have to change my daughter's diaper, and so I have to say goodbye because I'm going to have to put her down for a nap. But it's been a pleasure, and thank you so much.
Is this Chris?
This is Chris.
Oh, okay. No problem. No problem.
Yeah, no problem, Chris. Yeah.
Okay.
Good luck with the diaper changing thing.
Great,
yeah,
thanks.
that's an important thing to do.
Yeah.
So.
Take care. Bye, guys.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I guess now we're left with Michael Thiele and Michael Shaw Fisher.
Michael was trying to change my diaper.
Why did you put that image in your head? That was terrible.
Not so tight with the huggies, Michael.
I lost my train of thought. I was going to say something, and I forgot. Well, it didn't come back to me. Do you guys follow Jordan Maxwell's work?
Jordan, say the name again?
Jordan Maxwell.
Jordan Maxwell. If I researched, maybe I researched him. I wrote this thing almost a year ago, so I'm not too sure if I remember.
No, don't worry about it, because you were on the subject of just having like a positive outlook on things, and Jordan Maxwell, he talks about like esoteric stuff, and he's informative. But by the time I finished listening to him, I want to like slit my wrist. I'm like so depressed.
Yeah.
It's good to be informative, but also you kind of leave people with a sense of hope, that they can do something about it. Because my thing is well, if if it's so macabre, there's no way of doing anything about it, or why tell people?
Yeah, I mean, loving life is the key, and I think the show finds a way to embrace the doomers and those who love life, and even I think a lot of the doom stuff, a lot of that is just romanticism, just like the whole idea of walking around and being in sort of this hunter-gatherer, mode with a gun and a machete and like rooting through old abandoned mansions and like, this whole Walking Dead fascination and stuff like that. It is so in us, to kind of return to this fundamental state of being where we don't have to go to jury duty, where we don't have to pay taxes, where we don't have, all these things that keep this society functioning. And it's a romantic idea to not have to do that anymore,
Yeah, but then
it's not just about that. It's about
that would be great not to have to do all those things. Oh, I don't do those things anyway.
Yeah.
Jury duty, just throw them in the trash, whatever, dude.
Oh, you just said that on the air. That's against the law. I would never do that. Do you think sometimes like that things that you're mentioning, like jury duty and the taxes, and maybe technology too, to some degree. So we sort of, as a humanity, are so removed from nature, and so sometimes it's sort of like you were saying, the romanticism, to go back to that, because maybe somewhere in us we actually want that. We actually want to work harder than we do. We have so many, we want to build a house. Like there's something in us that strives to, and so it almost seems like at the end of the world, we would have to go back to that, the hunter-gatherer, and that sort of innate thing about us that we, makes us, I don't know, that we're kind of removed from now because everything is so convenient. Would you say?
Very removed, I would say. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. There's an interesting thing. I don't know, Michael, if you read this book, World War Z. I know he's a horror fan, but there's this interesting moment where the president of the United States is. So there's a big war with zombies, and they're trying to rebuild humanity and rebuild society. And now that all the computers are useless, like things have all gone down. There's no internet. Like everything's been, like the thing that they find themselves needing the most are plumbers and carpenters and
exterminators.
And like the president sitting there, like eating an apple with a whole bunch of people, just with no secret service, just sitting there, like on a river somewhere, and you're just like, wow, there is a desire to become more sensitized, and like you said, like take these greater feats of strength in a more natural way, because we are so removed.
Mm-hmm. So. Right, and the technology, like the social networking and all that's kind of, it's great in the one sense that we can connect with people, but then we're not really connected as much as we were before, when you actually had to go and be in someone's presence and be in their space and things like that. And so, just more urbanization where we're not out in the woods and everything. So there's sort of a romanticism about that kind of life, and because I think maybe we sort of feel that that's missing in our lives now, even though we're embracing all of this technology and all this sort of easy living, So it's interesting how many people will latch on to that doomsday thing, because they do kind of want that to happen, on some level.
Yeah. Oh, but there's some people, they do. They want,
But I don't think it's necessarily like because they want to die or because they think, but because they want to go back to, living in the earth, or they want to, something in them makes them feel that would be better.
Yeah. Exactly. Or they don't like Obama's policies, or they won't like, or they don't like Romney, or whatever, like wherever they see the world going that they don't agree with.
Yeah.
They
want a desire to break that system down. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely like a do-over, right?
Yeah.
So since you guys are artists, we're all artists here, actually. But I want to know, because there's like a scientific view of the end of the world, and as far as like art goes, do you think, or how do you think art is important in helping people to open up to new ideas or concepts, as opposed to just being told what to think and what to do, as far as does it make sense?
It does. Michael, you want to take it?
You can take it.
You don't know, do you? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I guess it just makes it more accessible. I guess it doesn't in a way that. Could you phrase that for me one more time? That question.
Yeah, no problem.
Sorry. That's a huge. That's like term paper stuff right there.
Yeah.
So it's tough to just kind of come back at that. But give it to me one more time, and yeah.
Art. Why do you think art is important to help people open up to new ideas or concepts, as opposed to reading books or seeing a news report, but seeing a play or listening to a piece of music, or will help somebody to open up to something more? Or why do you think?
I think I have an answer for this. A part of an answer for this is one of the great things about art that I believe that it should do is it should encourage empathy. When you watch a character going through something, you're able to sort of submit. If somebody came up to you on the street, and like after I watch A Christmas Carol and I see what Ebenezer Scrooge has to go through in order to figure out, that money isn't everything, and that he's lived a really narrow life, and that there is a whole world of poor people who he's not paying attention to and who he never cared for, in fact hated. Like, when I sort of understand that and I see his transformation in a well-crafted story like Charles Dickens' novella, then all of a sudden I'm like, I want to take to the streets. I want to be more involved, and I think a lot of it's, there's a lot of stuff that's not art that's been created that just sort of is there for escape, and it's there for for financial reasons, because they know they'll make a lot of money off of sex or violence or whatever, and that's great. If that's going to put food on people's tables, then that's awesome. And if it gives people a great Friday night, then that's good too. But it is nice to have something within any story, if it's violent or sexual, that gives you an opportunity to empathize with the characters and give someone that laugh of identification when you're laughing at something that you have experienced or something that or have recognized in other people. It's a real gift to be able to share that with people and have them laugh and identify with you on the stage. Becomes very ceremonial, as opposed to going to a TV movie and you sort of sit back and there's no interaction. It's just zoning out and having everything explained for you and manipulated for you. Theater is a lot more human. You have to look in and find all of the imperfections of any argument.
Yeah, art makes you feel, whereas instead of just like reading the news or seeing the news, instead of just thinking about it, it really makes you, feel with just what Mike said, it puts you in the shoes of those characters. So people who you wouldn't necessarily agree with or don't come from their background, and you're not feeling what they're feeling, I think art, definitely in theater puts you, it forces you to go in their shoes a little bit, and kind of, there's that potential for a new perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, really good answer.
Yeah. And that's really important, to empathize and to feel to feel connected when it's the end of the world. So we really we really need to reconnect before it's all done with. No, I'm kidding, because I actually am with you guys. I don't think it's going to end either. But
wouldn't you feel moted if it did? You'd be so moted.
I'd be dead. It doesn't matter.
You'd be moted and you'd be dead.
My ghost would be so moted. So, well, we're just about out of time here, but I want to, before we close out, I want you guys to once again tell our audience how they can go see your play and what the dates are and where they can buy tickets and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I have the dates right here. Tickets can be bought at doomsdaycabaret.com, and there are also some tickets you can look on Gold Star here and there to get some discounts. But doomsdaycabaret.com has all the dates, all the info, everything. And
so does brown paper tickets too. Brown paper tickets. We have a lot of tickets there as well. So.
Yeah, and our next shows are this coming Friday and Saturday, the 2nd and 3rd of November. We also have shows on the 9th, 10th, 16th, and 17th. So basically Friday and Saturday, every Friday and Saturday through Thanksgiving. And then we have a little bit of time off, but then we come back and we have shows on in December on the 8th. That's a Saturday, the 9th. And then, of course, we have...
No, not the 9th. Not the 9th.
Not the 9th. I'm sorry, the 8th and the 15th. Sorry, I can't read.
Yeah.
And then we have shows on the December 20th, and we have 2 shows on the 21st because, we need to get as much in to the 21st in case that is the end. We really want to spend some time together. And
yes.
It's your last...
Wouldn't you rather go out at a rock show than about the end of the world? If there's a chance... Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Right.
Instead of like at home with I don't know, with the TV or something. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know. I'd rather go out at a rock show. You're right.
Yeah, it's true. So yeah, just listening to REM, It's the End of the World by yourself
with a beer.
Yeah. So great. Good deal. I can't wait to see it. It sounds fantastic and like a lot of fun, but really interesting and heartfelt. And so it sounds really, really good. I'm hoping that we'll get to see that soon. So, and I hope the audience does too. I hope anyone who's listening, go check out Doomsday Cabaret. And we're in the Los Angeles area. We have listeners all over. So anybody in the Los Angeles area, or if you're nearby, you want to get to see this show.
What theater? Sorry, what theater is it?
The Blank?
The Blank Theater.
It's actually it's called the Second Stage Theater. It's at 6500 Santa Monica Boulevard in California, 938, and it's actually right at Santa Monica Boulevard.
Oh, is that by the complex and like the Elephant Theater, that area?
Yes. Exactly.
Like
right across the street from the complex. It's a building that has The End in backwards letters on the roof.
Right.
Yeah.
Was that your doing, or that was that Quinn?
Yeah, that was there.
It was fate.
That was destiny.
And also like our Facebook page too, because we put a lot of news and pictures and all stuff, a bunch of stuff, sometimes discounts on the Doomsday Cabaret Facebook page as well.
Okay. And is it Doomsday Cabaret? Is that just the name of the?
Yes, I believe it's.
Yeah.
It's Doomsday Cabaret.
Uh-huh.
And so, do you intend to film it and then have DVDs sell after the production's over? Do you intend to do anything
I don't
like
think
that?
legally that's possible.
Yeah, no. So you have to come see it live, or you won't get it.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering because for anybody that's out of the area that maybe you won't be able to see it. So
it's worth the plane ride.
It's worth the plane ride. All right. Well, sounds good. And so I thank you guys so much, Mike Thiele and Mike Fisher, for being on our show, and for Chris Raymond also, the director who had to leave us to go change diapers. Very important. And
didn't mention that, but it was his own.
Well, that's important also. So that's quite a serious.
I'm having way too much fun with this adult diaper stuff. All right, where do I go?
Anyway, dude, just get it. Just change the diaper, dude. Get it done.
That's an easy joke. It's too easy. You could just go all day with that one. So, but we want to thank you guys so much for being on our show today and telling us about the play and talking about the end of the world. So, if there isn't an end of the world, everybody should go see the Doomsday Cabaret. And so we're going to take a short break, and when we get back, Virstyne and I will close out the show. But we want to thank our guest and encourage anybody out there to go see this production because it sounds really good.
All right, thank
you
so
so much.
You're welcome.